Okay, I got you. Give me a second.
That's okay, that's all right.
You sure?
Yeah, yes. I'm not gonna sit at the table, I'm gonna sit on the table. How about that?
If you want, I'll play it after so you can play it before.
Sure, that's great. Here, hey,
Hey! Well, thank you for showing up. I'm always terrified no one's going to be in a panel room, It's like, this is Doug Jones, whatever. Thank you. This is nice to see a full room. Oh, my heart is warm and full. Yeah, so we're in Bangor, Maine, you guys. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Wow. So what's the Dougie Jones story? Well, it starts in 1960 back in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where it started. Yes, I'm old, right? I'm gonna be 55 next month. Do you believe that? I look good, don't I? I know. Thank you. And I'm finally gonna be old enough to order off the Denny's menu, the senior menu at Denny's. I'm very excited. I've been looking forward to this. I love discounts. Dollar menu, love it all. So that's not what you wanted to hear about, though. I'm guessing. There is it. Yeah. She's like, oh, yes, I did. Thank you. So growing up in the Midwest, but having as an awkward child, right? And anyone can relate in the room at all? That's why we're here together. My people. But being like the tallest kid in my class, I'm the very skinniest kid in my class. And when you grow up in the Midwest or anywhere really, if you don't fit a certain niche of perfect, then you're made fun of. It's kind of how kids work, right? And so I thought, well, if people are going to laugh at me, I'm going to develop a sense of humor and control when they laugh at me and why they laugh at me. So that's where the goofy started to happen. It was just a sense of survival. So with that, what inspired that was the TV at home. Any of the goofy characters that I found that were kind of lanky, goofy, wacky people like Gomer Pyle or Gilligan or Barney Fife from the Mayberry Show, right? Don Knotts, my hero, and Jerry Lewis, anything he did, Danny Kaye, Dick Van Dyke. These are my early inspirations. I love Lucy, The Carol Burnett Show, shut up, right? It just goes on and on. Yeah. So watching TV and getting inspired by them and seeing tall, lanky, goofy, wacky people with a job, it gave me hope that there was something for me to do one day, So I kind of thought I want to be on a sitcom. My career turned into something that I did not expect. Because I was really, I went out to Hollywoodland in 1985, about 30 years ago. God, it's so hard to say that. I've been in LA for 30 years and I was an adult when I moved there. Isn't that weird? I know. So, but I was thinking that I would love to be a goofy sidekick on a sitcom, like the people I just told you about, right? I'd love to walk in the room and do something funny, make an armpit fart, and leave, right? So that's what I was pursuing, but the creature effects people nabbed me up pretty quickly, and I did not expect that. Of course, I'd seen movies with monsters in them before, but I never thought of it as a career option, right? Because early inspirations there would be Boris Karloff as the Mummy. That was one of my first feature films that I ever saw that was like, I don't know if you have like a local like Friday night TV show with a host who's like, here's the horror movie for this week. That guy. We had that in Indianapolis. His name was Sammy Terry, and every Friday night was like you stay up late with your friends and you're like, oh my gosh, and you can't sleep, you have nightmares, the stuff that dreams are made of. So The Mummy was one of my first ever, and then The Creature from the Black Lagoon, right? And then, of course, Boris Karloff again as Frankenstein, Lon Chaney with Phantom of the Opera, shut up, right? Yeah, so, and the list goes on and on. Bela Lugosi as Dracula. These are the black and whites are my favorite, And so I do have a love for the classic monsters, but I think because they were sympathetic and they make you feel something, and we can relate to them in some way, right? So that's what so there was a love for that, but I never thought, so I'm thinking like sitcoms, musicals, that's me. And then one of my first agents, a TV commercial agent I had, saw on my resume that I had a mime background. Yes, I'm admitting this in public.
You use Pan's Labyrinth to prove it.
Yeah, thank you, Precious. Yeah, when I was in college at Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. Isn't that a great name for a school? Ball State. Yeah, named after the Ball brothers. Don't ask me. But those T-shirts went in Florida every spring break, like Ball U. It was a logo that came out. Yeah. So you would do T-shirt trades in Florida, and like, yay, spring break, Ball U, yeah. Again, not why you came here. So anywho, where was I? I get sidetracked so easily. I was everywhere. I was all over the place. So mime. There you go. So in college, there's a mime troupe at Ball State called Mime Over Matter. That's funny. See, don't play on words. So my freshman year of college, I was. You've seen how I talk now. I use my hands a lot. I'm very expressive, and I'm tall and lanky and goofy. Okay, so I'm doing that in the cafeteria of our dorm, and there's this senior named Reed Steele who's doing this, kind of watching me, you know. And for weeks. And then at some point he finally comes up to me and says, do you do mime? Have you heard of mime? I'm like, I do mime, pantomime, something like that. Yeah. So he said, he was the leader of the mime troupe, Mime Over Matter. Come see one of our shows. So I went to see one of their shows and I sat there like this. Oh my God. Because complete silence, but with the musical, it had a pianist that would play along with them. And they were creating things that weren't there, a bunch of people in leotards with a black curtain, and that's it. But I saw things, I laughed, I cried, there were stories, not one word spoken. Oh my gosh, what is this? So I fell in love with the art of mime immediately, and my form kind of took to it naturally. So that art form, though, was kind of what woke my body up to realize that we do communicate with everything besides just words. That communication is very nonverbal as well. All the visuals you put off say so much. So as an actor, it really kind of helped fill out the rest of the performing tool that I have here. And I am such a tool. But and then in college also, I was the mascot, Charlie Cardinal, for 2 years. Yes, yeah, not having a clue that being in the mime troupe and being the mascot would be setting me up for the career that I was about to have. I had no idea, right? I was thinking, this is just kind of fun, college, woo, yeah, bird at a basketball game. I didn't know. So then going out to Hollywood in 1985. And thinking, sitcoms, here I come, woo! And then my first commercial agent I saw mime and contortionist on my resume. Now I don't have an act. I've never traveled with the circus, but I can put my legs behind my head. Do you want to see? My jeans are tighter than I thought. Anywho, but having that on your resume makes you like, oh, with special skills, we can, exploit that. So I went out for all kinds of weird tomfoolery, physical, pratfalls, anything costumed and whatnot, and the movement of the mime background. So one of my first gigs I ever got, if anyone's in the room old enough to remember the Mac Tonight campaign for McDonald's, the crescent moon sitting at a piano, when the clock strikes, hey, yeah, that was me. So, yeah. So one of my first gigs ever, it was like my fourth commercial that I booked, was this Mac Tonight campaign. So this big crescent moon mask over my head, and the face was the big mouth here that I kind of looked through whenever they opened up. When they opened it, I could see. When they closed it, I was like, yeah. So. And then sunglasses on, and so that was puppeteered by other people, and the creature effects people that made that moon mask became that's when the referrals started. So, my career took a left turn I did not expect. We would borrow people from other creature effects shops to work on our commercial campaigns. The Mac Tonight commercials did 27 of them for the next 3 years, from 1987 into 1990. So that was quite a huge campaign, and and being that the creature effects shop was a guy that ran out of his garage, he would borrow people from other creature shops like Stan Winston Studios and Rick Baker's and Greg Canham's, like these big, Oscar-winning makeup artists that had their shops of their own with big corporations. He would borrow people from that to help on the next commercial shoot, and then they would go back to that job with their memory of that tall, skinny, goofy guy they just worked with. So that's kind of what happened. They would go back to that shop, and then they might be working on a movie or TV show that had a long, skinny alien in it, and they saw the concept drawing and would be like, I just worked with a guy that might fit this, right? So that's kind of what happened. And so the reputation was tall, skinny, goofy guy who moves well and wears a lot of crap on his face and doesn't complain about it. That was bigger than I thought. Right? Because most actors are diva-like and very like, oh, it's so hot, get it off me, right? So, right. So I apparently being from Indiana, it's like I got a work ethic. If you say yes to a job, you do the job, damn it, right? It's easy, right? So, but apparently that was exceptional. I didn't know that. So that became a part of the referral process. Oh yeah. So thank heaven for the creature effects makeup people, because they're the ones who like developed and referred my career into where it is now. So part of that referral system came when I met my favorite director in my entire life, Guillermo del Toro. Yes. And I met him on, we actually met before you might think. I was 1997 when he was doing his first American studio film, Mimic. Anybody seen Mimic? Right. There were those they were called long johns, the overgrown cockroaches that kind of mimicked human beings and took over the subways of New York. That's why we don't live there, right? So I was one of those bug guys. And I only worked on the movie for 3 days. They were doing reshoots in LA. They filmed it in Toronto, in Canada. And the guy who played the Long John bug guys was Canadian, couldn't work in the States. So they're doing reshoots, pickups, right 2 weeks before the movie comes out. A couple of scenes we need the bug guy back in. So those referrals started happening. Who do we know? Who's gonna fit the suit? Doug Jones, yeah. So I get this call one day saying, hey, Doug, I'm from, Rick Lazarini's shop. Can you work tonight at a night shoot? And I'm like, yes. So, are you paying? I'm a whore, I'll be there. So I show up so I stand in this sort of like weird costume with a bug face and a thing, and I'm in the rain. There is a rain machine. I'm on the top of a brick building looking over the edge like this. Like, yeah, that's the shot we need. Great, good night. That was, wow, what a short day. And then the next day I come back. They need me for 3 days. So I came back the next day and we're doing some interiors on a green screen. And that's the day that we had a lunch break, and at the lunch break I'm sitting at the lunch table, and directly across from me, sits down Guillermo del Toro, right? But I didn't know who he was then. I didn't know he was Guillermo. I thought it was like, oh, Guillermo, the director. Yeah. So he sits down, and he puts his hands in his chin, and he says, so, tell me everything you've been in before. I'm like, okay, well, I listed off, what I think, and he said, I'd already done Hocus Pocus by then. Anybody? Hocus Pocus, you guys! Happy Halloween all year round! Oh, I love Billy. Playing Billy Butcherson he's the love of my life. I did goofy, floppy, fun. That's before zombies were cool, you guys. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. And I look kind of hot as a zombie. And to all of you young ladies who told me that I was your first screen crush, thank you. I'm worried about you, but thank you. So anyway, so I told him, I was going down the list of things I'd done. I told him about the Mac Tonight campaign and the hee-haw and the hoo-hoo and the her. And so he's like, oh, that's great. Who did the makeup on that? Oh, yeah, I like his work. Nice guy, yeah. Okay. So we had this discussion about monsters and the making of them. And so it was like we were connecting. And we were like having geek talk. It was wonderful. And then so he said, so do you have a card? So I did. I happened to have these cards on me that I had hand-drawn my own face doing this. On the side. And then there was my phone number was sitting near my mouth like, ah! So he took the card and goes, oh, that's great. And he put it in his pocket. And then, so 5 years later. I've done lots of work in the meantime. Let's see, from the 97 into 2002, I would have been a guest star on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, there's another brilliant man, Joss Whedon, who conceived of The Gentleman. He wrote that episode, he directed that episode, and it was nominated for an Emmy, of course. Very, very innovative television was that, by taking verbal dialogue away from half that episode when I stole everybody's voice in Sunnyvale. I know. But they got him back when Buffy made my head explode. Anyway. But if you haven't seen the show, that makes no sense. So more things have happened in the meantime. I think I'd also done, yes, I had also been in the Rocky and Bullwinkle movie, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle as an FBI agent who got turned into a carrot. Yes, I did. I'd also been in Monkey Bone. Anybody hear of Monkey Bone? Right? I love that. And Brendan Fraser, sweetheart of a guy, and I was the Yeti in that. And that he went off to Coma Land where all the fantasy characters came to life, and I was the Yeti. He's real, you guys. So again, 2002. And it's the fall, and my phone rings again, and 9 o'clock at night, and it's my makeup artist friend, Steve Wang. Steve Wang, brilliant designer. And he calls me up and says, "Hey, Doug, we're out to dinner with a director friend of yours. He says he knows you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's nice, how sweet." Yeah, we're working on a movie, and your name came up to play this character, so can you come in and meet with us tomorrow? Yes, I can. Remember, I'm a whore. So he, well, apparently what had happened earlier that day, you guys, okay? What had happened earlier that day was at the creature effects shop, they had done what they call a maquette. Now, a maquette is like a 1/3 scale size of a character, a sculpture of it, so you can see a 3D from all angles, like, oh, this is the design we're working on, does it meet your approval? So that day, the director of this particular film was coming into the creature shop to look at the maquette and say, yes, I like it, or no, I don't, and here's the changes I like it, whatever. So apparently, so that sculpture was of a character called Abe Sapien from the first Hellboy movie, right? I know. The director was Guillermo del Toro. He comes walking into the creature shop. They unveil this for him for the first time. Legend has it, and it's been documented that he did do this. He walks in, they unveil it for him, he goes, oh, falls to his knees, and says, I am so fat. I'm not making that up. I think what he meant was, what a beautiful thin creature. I think that's what he meant. So that's when the creature effects guys at the shop said, hey, the perfect person to play this is Doug Jones. Guillermo says, Doug Jones? I know Doug Jones. And he pulled my card out of his wallet 5 years after I gave it to him. Carry a card, right? So that's how Hellboy 1 started for me, and then of course, thank heaven he came back for me for Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, and with a bigger storyline and a love interest with the lovely princess. Right? I know, right? I know. And and then of course in the meantime, let's see, I also before Hellboy 2, I got this email one day. Doug, I'm in Spain prepping another movie. And that he types in that voice. He said, a courier will be coming to your house today to drop off a script. Yeah, he could have emailed it, but read it today, get back to me tonight by 11 your time with a yes or no. Like, what? Good thing I was free that day. So I read the script, and it happened to be the script for Pan's Labyrinth. Oh my gosh. Right. Oh! So, yes! And now, mind you, when you're an actor like me that wears a lot of funky makeups, people think that a lot of filmmakers think that I must love to do schlocky horror films. They have their place, but I don't love. Here's the script I read 6 times a year and say no to every one of them. That's the script that I hate getting is, oh no, we're a bunch of half-naked teenagers running around the woods, smoking pot, having sex. But no, here comes Doug Jones to kill all of us one at a time. I hate that movie, right? So I had read a couple of those recently, and then here I'm reading Pan's Labyrinth, right? Like this beautiful masterpiece. So I'm wiping tears away at the end, and I'm closing it going, I have to be in this movie. So yeah, so there was love, and of course it was in the Spanish language. I found that out. I read the script. I read it was in an English translation. So then it's like, it's going to be in Spanish. No, then I'm not your guy. I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. You can count to 10 for all I care, and we'll double over later. He actually said that to me. So I was like, oh yeah, I guess if that'll save the movie, whatever. But I couldn't count to 10. I couldn't give him the mouth going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because then they double over that later with Spanish. It would be like a bad, like Japanese anime, something jobby, something from the 50s. So I actually buckled down and learned the Spanish, and hardest thing I've ever done. Hardest thing. Were you wearing a 5-hour makeup application? But I get asked all the time, like, how long does it take? Well, okay, anywhere from 3 to 7 hours you're looking at when you're looking at a crazy creature makeup, depending on the design. And the longest makeup application you'll ever sit through is the first time they ever apply it, right? The test run. And the longest I ever sat through was 11 hours. Anybody see Quarantine, a movie called Quarantine? Yeah. Right? I was the, right.
That like couple second clip, like.
Okay. Thank you for knowing that. Right here. She'll answer all the questions from here on. Thank you, Siba. I was. If you look at the credits of Quarantine, I was thin infected man. Why wouldn't I be? And so I was the one who started the rabies problem in the movie, and a new strain of rabies. I was going to end the world, and I was a crazy person. So love. So but anyway, that was a head-to-toe makeup, wearing nothing but whitey tighties that weren't that tight. They were kind of yellow and saggy. And the rest was all just like old man saggy. They had to glue on saggy pectoral man boobs on me, and make my shoulders even bonier than they already are, and wig scraggly, sores, pus. It was so the first test run of that was 11 hours. Yeah. And how do you like it? You like it? You approve? Good. I'll be back tomorrow. So there's that. And why did I tell you? I see I got sidetracked again. We talked about Quarantine, and I got all the.
You were talking about makeup, Ron.
Yes. Okay. So 5-hour makeup application, speaking Spanish that you don't understand. But I did. I learned the language of the film. But so your brain's working really hard, your body's working really hard. I was 7 feet tall as the fawn, El Faldo. And so you're clunking around on stilts and can't see very well, can't hear very well because the motors in the head. This is not. Guillermo likes to use as little CG as possible when he's creating a character like that. So the mask was all glued on, and it was an actual makeup, and the eyes though I couldn't control because they were set out here for Abe Sapien as well in the Hellboy movies. The eyes are just outside my own. So I'm looking through the tear duct. So I got a little triangle of and so I can't have no peripheral vision at all, right? None of this I can't say unless I do this. Yeah, okay, now I got it. So and then put me up on stilts, right? And it's like, oh geez, oh now. So you're and you can't see all this, so your balance becomes a bit of a problem. We have 2 Hellboys in the room. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't see the second. Hi, hello, young lady. Wow, that's a commitment. Thank you. Sidetracked. I did it again. Okay, right. Can I tell you what it's like to get into character when you are developing the physicality of a character? I go to my 24-hour fitness at night when the classes are all done, and I have the whole dance floor with the mirrors to myself. and then I'll kind of just before when I read a script and I talk to the director and I have a look at myself in the mirror and go, okay, how would this character, how would he stand, walk? What's his resting place? How does he lunge? What does the script call for? Does he crawl up walls? Is he on all fours? Does he squat? It's a lot of squatting. So as the fawn, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm going to be on stilts in a high-heeled position, so balance is going to be quite a problem, especially when I can't see the room, you know? So I knew I had to get strong at walking out on my tiptoes, right? Like this. Like here with my eyes closed and affecting different postures. What's he supposed to look like? So now picture this though, at a 24-hour fitness gym. I'm doing this in the mirrors, like, you know. And there's a guy behind the glass here doing this. All for you people, I do this, okay? So anyway, so there was love. And also in Pan's Labyrinth, that was the first time that I did double duty. So with that first email was, I wanted to play the fawn. Nobody can play the fawn but you. And also look at the part called the Pale Man. So the Pale Man, oh gosh. So I thought, yeah, you cheap ass, you want a second character for free. So and I realized that, you know, that he really, the Pale Man was this guy. He was a creation of the fawns, and so it was kind of like he wanted the same person to play both parts, and for good reason. And yet I wanted to make them very different from each other, which I hope they were. So all love in the end, right? And then, so in the meantime then too, let's see, aside from Guillermo, whom I love dearly, I also got the chance to play a Marvel character in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. That's so much fun, so much fun. And the Silver Surfer, now that I've met and know Stan Lee, the creator of Marvel Comics and a lot of those characters, he has said publicly, and to me personally, the Silver Surfer was his favorite character he ever created. And I asked him why, and he said, because he could wax poetic through the Silver Surfer. He could talk about the human condition, about Earth, what we're doing to ourselves, to each other, to our planet, through the eyes of this alien who comes with all the curiosity and his own mission of you know, he was on a mission of destroying, but he turns into a mission of mercy. So I just loved, I love everything about the Surfer. And so yeah, and the jury's out on whether people like that movie or not as a whole, but thank you for always liking the Surfer. The comments I keep hearing are, I didn't, the movie, but you were good. So thank you for that. We'll see what the reboot has in store for us, yeah, won't we?
I mean, I don't care for the Fantastic Four, but yeah, the Surfer is far more cooler.
Thank you, Precious. Thank you. Precious. So yeah, but I'll tell you what, when you're working this far from Jessica Alba's face, oh no, so you're leaning in with him, and all you can think is, you are perfect. Pittsburgh is, and for you, and I also got to grab Chris Evans by the throat, right? So if anybody in here has a crush on him, it's well-founded because he's also like child. That's why I threw him off. You're too damn pretty. So there's that. And then Ewan Griffith, of course, Mr. Fantastic, on his new show Forever. Anybody seen that? He's great on that. Yeah. Love, love. Oh, I had a great time with all of them. And Michael Chiklis, who played the Thing, right? He called me his brother under rubber. Yes. He wasn't a big fan of wearing the rubber makeup. Yeah. But since I was encased in rubber too, he was like, yeah, we understand each other. Okay, good. Yeah. So there was love. Now, of course, to continue with Guillermo del Toro, I also, if you've been watching The Strain on FX channel, I appeared in the season finale of season 1 as one of the ancient vampires that showed up, if anybody's familiar with this. And I'm going to be reprising that character in season 2, which starts in July. So episode 1 of season 2, you'll see that character. And then I play a second older vampire that will be in a sequence that opens the show. It's a flashback, and you'll see how the master became the master. And I might be involved in that somehow. That's all I can tell you. Whoa, teaser! Yeah, so that's that. And then also my other Guillermo story for now, or tidbit or enticement for you, is I play a couple of ghostly characters in his new movie Crimson Peak, which comes out. Yes, it looks beautiful. The trailer's looking gorgeous. That's October 16th in theaters everywhere. In the meantime, too, what? You guys, wait, this is crazy. I've been on Falling Skies for 3 years. Oh my gosh, how fun has that been? Oh, I'll tell you. Really a lot. I joined the cast in season 3, and I've been on for 3, 4, and 5 now. Season 5 starts June 28th on TNT, Sunday nights at 10. Come on now. 9 Central. And it is our final year on the show. So if you've been following Falling Skies, for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, aliens have taken over Earth in a hostile takeover, and it's post-apocalypse now, and there's a human faction that is surviving, led by Noah Wiley from ER. And then in season 3, when I land on the planet, I'm here with another race of aliens, and we're here to help. We're here to help the humans fight back the bad aliens. So I've stayed as a member of the team ever since, and there's love now as I get to know my human friends even better. So season 5 will be like very awesome. It brings the story to a rousing close, and but I'm not going to spoil any of that. It's very exciting what's coming. Yeah. Oh, and any Arrow and Flash fans? If you watched the show last Wednesday, a week ago, you would have seen me as Deathbolt, a supervillain on the show. I was the first metahuman to show up on Arrow, the first villain with superpowers. So then at the end of that episode, you see me taken away, and with a hint that I might be showing up on The Flash next, which I am on May 12th. So so you'll see how that story plays out. And I'm not going to get none of that away. Okay, so there's that. Wow, I've been rattling off about myself. Do we have any questions from you guys at all? There's a microphone right there, so you can get to it and ask questions, and hopefully I'll have answers for you.
Hey there, Doug. This is Alex.
Hello, Alex.
Hello there. Now, my first question is: you played the Silver Surfolk. You played SS. So, would there be another Marvel or DC character that you would like to perform as, if you could pick one? One from Marvel, one from DC.
Oh.
That you haven't already played.
Right, well, oddly enough, growing up watching cartoons, I wanted to play the stretchy guy, Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four. But that's already been done now, and now it's being rebooted with somebody who's young enough to be my grandson. Yeah. So I'm not looking forward to that happening. But DC world, let's see. I would like to play Deadman.
Yeah.
Yes, in the darker version. And there's been talk of Guillermo del Toro doing that, like a darker Justice in the Dark. Yes. So hopefully, that would be my on my wish list out there. Yeah, okay. Somewhere.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you. Tidbit, I was also in DC's Batman Returns with Danny DeVito as Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. I was one of Danny DeVito's sidekicks in the Red Triangle Circus Gang. That credit was Thin Clown, Doug Jones.
Hi, my name is Camille. It's going to be really hard for me not to just circle back and keep asking you questions, but...
aren't you? I have a table out there. You come by, we'll talk.
I'll be there. Okay. I just wanted to say, you say you never complain about wearing the prosthetics, but did you ever have claustrophobia when you were wearing all of the stuff on your face?
No.
And did you just get over it?
You kind of have to get over it. Claustrophobia is something, when claustrophobia clicks in though, you have no reason, you can't reason with that person. They're like, get So I found that out the hard way with some cohorts on The Time Machine, and basically the remake of The Time Machine in the year 2001 that came out, or 2002. I was the lead spy Morlock in that movie, and makeup's done by Stan Winston Studios. And so there's a lot of Morlocks in that movie, and I was the spy Morlocks. We were the skinny, spindly ones that shot darts into people to mark them. And the bigger Morlocks, the hunter Morlocks, would come out and go, "Arr!" and then take the Eloy people down under earth and devour them. Okay, well the big guys were all like these big, huge stuntmen that they had called in to, so they had an audition process, and I was there for that to help find these people because it took a special mental place. And these are guys, you know, muscly guys who have been athletes, and they jump through windows, they run into burning buildings, they drive cars off cliffs, they're stunt guys, right? And some of them, you come ask them like, get it off! Yeah. So you can't know when that's going to happen. And thank heaven it didn't happen. I have never had worried about claustrophobia. But thank you, my love.
Thank you.
Yay!
Hi.
Isn't that hair fantastic? I know. Takes some product, doesn't it? Yeah.
I wanted to know how much of the makeup that you've worn has been pre-painted, and how much do they just put it on and paint it once it's all on you, or
Right.
before?
Pre-painted is the way to go. So if you've watched Face Off at all, you've seen some of the process. That show's been good. And I've also guest judged on that a couple times. Everybody's seen that? It's been kind of fun for me. Yeah. Thank you. With as much work as they can do at the shop first, it saves you an awful lot of time on set. So they do a whole design, and especially like as Cochise on Falling Skies, my makeup goes on now like in an hour. But it's so fast because it's a cowl, so it's the face is cut out and the rest of the head and neck are all slid on to me like a hood. And then that's glued around the edge. And then they have a face piece that goes on here, blend the edges in quickly, and they glue it to my face, and then a little bottom lip, and then all pre-painted pieces with the lines that match up and the colors that match up with each other. They do just a smidge of touch-up, and we're done. That saves an awful lot of time. I prefer that, and rare is the case that you'll have like pieces put on you on set when they're waiting for you to film something with a blank, foam rubber piece that they have to start painting, and that would take hours and hours and hours and hours. Yeah, but thank you for asking. Yay.
Hey, you know how you like playing really thin and lengthy kind of characters?
That's all I can play.
I don't know. I always thought a really cool character from DC that you could play as Plastic Man, because he's really funny, but he's also really lengthy.
Plastic Man. I've had many people on the Webernet, on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagrams, that you should play Plastic Man. I hear that a lot. So thank you for that. We'll look into it.
Hi, when you were doing the second Fantastic Four movie, were there any rumors or basically people were talking about possibly doing a Silver Surfer movie?
More than rumors. I actually had a 3-picture deal with 20th Century Fox to continue that character. So that was in the plan. I don't know what happened to the plan, right? I know, because I was supposed to do the spin-off movie on my own, and a script was written by J. Michael Straczynski. And I don't know whatever happened to it. Or if they didn't approve it, they didn't. I don't know. I'm not a studio guy, so I don't know. So I was ever hopeful. I hung on to that hope for a while. Now I'm not hoping anymore. I think it's been long enough. But wasn't the Silver Surfer that was the hottest I've ever been on film ever? Best ass, right? Problem was I had to give it back at the end of the day. I just wanted to visit my own ass on weekends and stuff. Yeah, so pretty. So okay, but thank you for asking. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Gabby.
Hi, Gabby.
I'm a big fan of a band called Steam Powered Giraffe, and I know that they worked with you or were severely influenced by you.
Yeah, so they've told me, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just their motion is something that I've been trying to get, because I have a Steam Powered Giraffe character that I cosplay, and just having the motion for cosplay is something that I have difficulty with.
The performance is a big part of cosplay, yes. Having judged a couple of cosplay contests now, a performance that's given really helps sell the look.
Yeah.
Steam Powered Giraffe, for those who don't know, it's a
pantomime steampunk band.
Pantomime, and they're kind of like robotic guys with steampunk styling on them, and they're fantastic. And I met them for the first time in San Diego at Comic-Con on the streets outside the convention center. I was walking by and I heard, "Oh, it's Doug Jones," which I hear a lot down there. So I kind of stopped and said, "Oh, who am I talking to?" And here are these guys in full garb, in their full makeups and costumes. I'm like, what am I looking at? "Well, we're a band called Steam Powered Giraffe, and we just, wow, big fan." So we got pictures taken together, and I looked them up on the Labyrinth thing you kids are using. And their music is fantastic. So we've had a love fest ever since. Yeah, love them. But what were you saying?
Mostly my question was about emotion in cosplay and how to like embody the character.
Yes.
How you can work through that, especially this character is a comic book character, so she doesn't have a physical.
What I'm looking at right now?
Yes.
Yes, right.
So I'm just like, I've never seen her move, so I don't
Right.
know.
I've never seen the Silver Surfer move either, or nor Abe Sapien from the Hellboy comics. When you see the comics and you see the poses that the artists put them in, or whatever they put them in, right?
Yeah.
If you can find those moments visually and find a way to connect them, you know. So the Silver Surfer for me especially was a challenge because as you can see, I'm very expressive, and he's more of a less is more, you know. He's very confident and very sure of himself. He's got the power cosmic for crying out loud, right? So his the posture was everything, and trusting that this was going to sell it, you know. I think, but look at the original artwork and try to connect the pieces and find the motion in the artwork if you can.
Build a story from it.
There you go.
And that'll make it easier.
That's right. There you go. Thank you. Love.
Hi, my name.
You're on rollerblades, right?
I am.
She's walking so gently.
My name's Emma, and first of all, I'd just like to say Pan's Labyrinth has been my favorite movie since I was 7. So that's. I'm a big fan of your work. Let's just.
You
say
watched
that.
it at 7 years old? Your parents. How old are your parents?
They're horror movie junkies.
Oh,
I'm
okay, of
used to
course.
it.
Bless.
But I just am wondering, actually, I guess I'm just curious if starring in horror movies and being in horror movies, has that desensitized you to them? Did they not freak you out? Does it just look cheesy? You're like, that's just some guy. Just
Yeah,
that's cool.
well, I'm not totally desensitized because I'll still go on the ride. I'm a good audience member still. If I watch a movie, I take it on let's go on the ride, whee! So, but I do have some I guess I can figure out how they did that, or I technically get into the how they did that kind of thing, sure. But no, gore is still gore, and if you want to, and surprises are still shocks. Yeah, those moments still happen for me too. I'm with you on that.
All right, cool.
Thank you, love.
And I kind of got two. One I like to ask everybody, and I kind of like to make a little public. Do you ever request or maybe kind of take anything from sets, like any of Tank Girl's trinkets or Hellboy's cigar? Do you have a little cabinet of stuff you look at and say, yes, that movie?
That's right, yeah. I started working a long time ago, so the world of collecting and selling and all that, it came later. So I had no idea what things would be worth, you know what I mean? So what I like to keep from sets is, if I'm wearing a crazy makeup, I like to keep one set of those makeup pieces, if I can. So from Hellboy 1 and 2, I have a set of hands, my webbed finger gloves, which are very signature for Abe Sapien, and I also have the mask, just the face piece without the bottom lip on it. Silver Surfer, these are very rare. They wanted those cut up at the end of the day. The Silver Surfer makeup had to be cut up and thrown away. So I had them keep 2 of them for me. one of the silver and one of the tarnished versions. So and those are just they had to tear the back of it off and to get the adhesive removers in this way. So they end up cutting pieces away. So I have a face and neck of both silver and tarnished. So those are treasures to me because there aren't any of those out there. You'll see some that came from the Creature Shop. They've recreated it, and they might be selling those as makeup worn by Doug Jones. But if it doesn't have the removal mess on it, then I didn't wear it. So my pieces that I have were worn, and so they were actual from the movie pieces. Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth. I was hoping to get something. I also I wanted to get an eye. I want to get one of the fawn's eyes to make it into a choker. You know what I mean? So I just wear maybe one of the pale man's eyes. That'd be great too, right? Yeah. But I don't have those. But yeah.
And another one really quickly. I know that Ron Perlman said that he saw bits and pieces of a script. Him and Guillermo had talked about a Hellboy 3. Is there any hope for that? Because that's something I've been, every couple months I Google it, and every couple months I scour TMZ, Ron Perlman, see with a red face. I'm like, really? Really?
Because he was embarrassed about something.
Yeah.
Number one question I get is Hellboy 3, is it happening or not? And I know as much as you do, honestly. Because when talking to Guillermo del Toro about it, he wants to do it, Ron wants to do it, I want to do it, Selma Blair wants to do it, we all want to come back and do it. And there was a story in mind. Obviously he left you hanging on Hellboy 2.
Twins?
Right. And as I also played the Angel of Death in Hellboy 2. So yes. Make a choice. So anyway, that character had some foretelling in that little scene about what's to become of Hellboy, and that I being his destiny, I knew all this was coming. So there's things to be worked out and fleshed out and finished up. So a part 3 was always in his plan, but so I don't, when it comes to not being made now, if we all want to do it and it's not being made, it usually comes down to a money issue. Is the budget he's asking for too big for a studio to want to back it? Maybe. So I don't know. And that would be a Kickstarter campaign that won't happen. Unless you have $150 million amongst your friends. Yeah. So.
All right, thank you.
So thank you for asking.
Hi, thanks for doing this. Do you have a classic horror movie that you would is on your bucket list for a reboot?
Oh, get this. I'm glad you asked that. Yes. And speaking of Kickstarter, they did a campaign for it. We're going to do a remake. I've been wanting to do this character, Count Orlok from Nosferatu. Oh, yeah. Right? Can you see this? Oh. So I've been wanting to play Nosferatu for decades. And so I did, okay, so now back about 10 years ago in 2005, did a movie called, a remake of The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, right? It was a silent film that we made into a talkie, but did it with silent film style, all in black and white, all in the same style, hair, makeup, looks, clothes as that 1919 film was. And what made it special too is it was more of a, he called it a remix, our director David Lee Fisher, because he filmed all of us on green screen and then plopped us into the original movie by creating matte shots off the original film. Amazing process, and it looks seamless and beautiful. So it's on the YouTube for free. If you do The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, you'll see the old version, but look for 2005. And it's out there. You'll see what we're talking about. So I get a call from him in August. Hey Doug, it's David Lee Fisher. How are you? I don't know if you're going to want to do this or not, but I have an idea. Have you heard of Nosferatu? I'm like, have I heard of? No, I'm going to take my clothes off. I will, yes. So I said, well, I want to do the same thing we did with Caligari. I'm like, you shut up! Because I've wanted to do a redo of Nosferatu, but I wanted to do it in black and white. I wanted to do it with an old school style to it, and that classic old feeling to it. And that's exactly how he wants to make it. So it's the same thing. He's going to make it into a talkie with verbal dialogue, but with an old style to it, and keeping true to the original story as an homage. And
When's it coming out?
well, we haven't filmed it yet. We're going to be filming this summer, probably either late June, sometime in July. I have another couple movies on the docket, so I have to make sure that it all fits in. Yeah, but it's on the plan. So thank you so much for asking.
That's awesome.
Well, we have to double this then.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Okay, so this is a completely random question. It has absolutely to do with nothing. But did you have any nicknames growing up?
Yeah, oh, honey. I'm the youngest of 4 boys. Yes, I had nicknames. Some I can't share. No, my name is Doug, of course. Brothers would call me Dougie. I love being called Dougie now, but you can all call me that. And my dad called me Guggleberries. Yes. My mother called me Dougie Daddles. Right? So thank you for asking.
Hi, I'm Mike. I have 2 questions. One, we met 2 hours
Yes,
ago.
we did, and there was love.
If there was so much love.
By the way, you're all coming by my table for a hug if you haven't done that yet. Okay, thank you.
Are we best friends yet?
We're totally.
Okay. And
My second question is, have you ever mentored other creature actors? Because I mean, you're so perfect, and like even just earlier when you were doing the hand motions of Abe, it's like you can see it. Have you ever mentored maybe newer creature actors?
I don't have a program for newer creature actors out there. I see your own school of monster acting.
I think of you like Andy Serkis when I think of motion capture acting, and so I was curious.
Yeah, no, young people coming up is a passion of mine. I do like to think of them as puppies. I might have called you a puppy earlier today. There you go.
Actually,
So anybody who wants to get into the performing arts of any kind, it's a lonely world. It's a crazy world. Anyone who has an artistic bent of any sort, not a lot of money in the arts always. It's a special breed of person that wants to get into that. So I do have a place in my heart for anyone coming up, especially that wants to do what I'm doing.
Right.
But I don't have like a special course. But when I did my second face-off episode so far, they had me come into the makeup lab ahead of time to work with the models on what to suss up the design, the creature, what is it, what's the look like, what are your limitations and possibilities, and so I would have to coach each model on camera, just on the spot. That was the hardest thing I've ever done. Like 9. Oh, no, thank you. Like 9 different makeups, so they didn't, and I had no pre-warning, just like go in and go. You're on camera. So they ended up editing together my best parts, thank heaven, and that's what aired on the show. So, but that felt really good. It feels good, especially when the model was like a young person. It was like, oh my gosh, I've been watching you for years. Ah! And so to coach them was just like a real treat for me. Yeah. So it's a time issue too. My own filming schedule is so stacked up that I couldn't have an ongoing commitment that I could commit to for that. But one-offs like this, having a talk is great for me. I love it.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil, very much. Yay.
You've played a lot of characters. Have you ever had one specific character that you like to play more than the others? Like a favorite?
Like a favorite. I think every character I take on has a special place. I have to open up my heart to them a little bit. I want to fall in love with every character I play, good or evil, because I want to understand them. I want to find out what makes them tick, what are their wants, their needs. And so you do kind of have a love affair with every character you play when you're an actor. So that's a politically correct answer. I love them all, just like my children. However, I think the ones we've talked about today are all on that short list of favorites. But probably Abe Sapien from the Hellboy movies is my favorite costume character because we've gotten to know each other so well over the course of 2 movies, 2 animated films I voiced, and a video game as well. And that seems to be the movie franchise that I get the most comments from you guys about. So that keeps the love going. And Pan's Labyrinth might be my favorite movie I've ever done because of the effect it has on people to this day. And that movie changed my life. I went from before Pan's Labyrinth being a creature actor that nobody knew how to categorize, or like is he a mime? Is he a stuntman? Is he a movement specialist person? What is he? And then so after Pan's Labyrinth came out, I was advertised as actor, and people were calling me a movie star then. But that kind of changed my life. And when you're walking down the red carpet at the Oscars, and the movie has 6 nominations, and you're being interviewed by Joan Rivers, your life has changed. Yeah, but thank you.
I was really hoping no one would ask you about your favorites before I got up here.
Oh, there. It's okay.
What would you say is your most difficult creature that you've done?
The farther you get from human, the more difficult it gets.
Yeah.
So creatures that stand like this are more easy to play because I'm already built like that, right? But characters that are more like, down here, like, that's what, and with the different weight and things that you're putting on you. So the worst and hardest ever movie called Bug Buster. Bug Buster. You haven't heard of it, of course not. It went straight to the VHS. Oh yeah. I think it played on Cinemax too, maybe, or something like that. Anyway, Bug Buster, I played the mother bug in that movie. So you can imagine this with the head was up here and it had like a contraption, so it responded to my head when it didn't really respond. It was like, and so my head is in the netting with fur coming out of it, like the neck of the bug. And then I had like 6 legs coming out of various parts of my body, a stinger coming out of my ass, wings, and on my front hands were these long 6-foot pinchers. like bug pincher, like right? Oh, child. So affecting a posture with all that weight and all that cumbersome shape was just hideous. Anyway, so can I tell you the story about Bug Buster? It's one of my favorite stories in all of history. And why? Randy Quaid was in the movie. The story's good already, right? Okay. The plot line is this town is being infested by insects, bugs that are killing people. I'm dying. Okay, so it's happening all over the town. And so what do we do? Where are they coming from? We don't know. Well, people are dying off. They call in Randy Quaid, who's like this general guy from some military faction. Big Coke bottle glasses, and he's like got, all the regalia on. He's like, yeah, let's kick some bug ass. So very exciting, very exciting. So somehow he gets to the outside of town and finds a cave where the bugs are coming from. And he gets into the cave, and he's like the last one alive kind of a thing. He gets into the cave, and there he meets the mother bug. And I'm standing guarding my pile of eggs, as a mother bug would do.
You're the queen.
Yeah. Next thing, Diane Sawyer's going to be interviewing me on TV. No, I know. Bless his heart. So I'm okay. So now I'm doing the mother bug thing, right? So and then Randy Quaid has all these weapons with him. And he's like, okay, yeah. So he shoots me, bang, bang, bang. Bullets don't kill me. Yeah. So he pulls out like this CO2 gun to freeze me. I don't freeze. He pulls out a flamethrower to burn me. I don't burn. So he's like, throws everything to the ground, and he goes, all right, man, you and me, mano-y-mano.
Right.
And then it gets silly. Right, Randy Quaid and a 6-foot bug having a hand-to-hand combat. So this whole scene is choreographed with us tossing each other about, and so we a handheld camera following us around. We're bouncing off of caves. Well, we were filming in the Bat Cave, where the Batmobile drove out of in the TV series, the Bronson Caves in LA. So so we're actually in there, and it's all this choreography. So I'm telling Randy ahead of time when this fight scene starts, they were going to follow us around for quite the entire fight scene, and I can't see very well. So I said, be careful of these front pincher things. They're kind of sharp. He's like, oh, Doug, it's gonna be fine, buddy. You do what you gotta do, and let's film this. All right. So, and action. I end up on top of him. He's on his back on the ground, and I'm on top of him, straddling him and holding him down. And cut. So I have to have help. I can't get up by myself. So it's like. I get lifted over to my special bug chair. It was like a bicycle seat, so the stinger could hang out the back, and like leaning forward on this thing. And assistant lady, I said, can you? I'm talking through my bug neck netting. Can you check on Randy? I didn't see him get up. So she goes over here, and then I hear Randy Quaid's voice from over here going, Doug, buddy, can you hear me? Yeah. How are you? I'm fine. Don't worry about a thing. Well, you do what you gotta do. Let's go again. I guess Randy's fine. The next voice I heard was a young production assistant over here with Randy also, and he says, can I get some help over here? I can't stop the bleeding. Needed some ice. Yeah. So apparently I had gashed Randy Quaid's forearms, both of them. He was just pumping blood out. And for him to say, I'm fine, let's go again! Randy Quaid, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I said. Yeah, so Bug Buster.
What a champ.
Yeah, piece of crap.
You will find it a strange man.
Okay, yes.
Hi.
I just wanted to say I actually didn't even know that you were here until a half hour ago, and I was describing to my friends about this person who's been in all these awesome movies and played all these amazing characters that really inspired me and made me want to do costumes and make costumes.
Wow.
And then my friend goes, Doug Jones, he's here. And I'm like, what? so here I am. And my question was...
Justice Boba Fett.
Justice Boba Fett, not a Doug Jones character. Maybe someday.
There are others.
Yeah. But, shoot, what was I going to say?
I do the same thing.
I was too busy preparing the first part. Well, let me think for a moment. What was your, like, what kind of made you as the go-to guy for creature acting? Like, how did you become that? What did you start?
I never set out to do that. That was not my goal. Again, I wanted to be on a sitcom. I wanted to be like doing a variety show like Donnie and Marie or Sonny and Cher or Carol Burnett, right? So I didn't want to be the guy. I didn't know I could be the go-to guy for this. So I think what it was that reputation that just formed. Again, the tall, skinny, goofy guy who moves well and wears a lot of crap on his face and doesn't complain about it. That reputation gets you talked about quite a bit. And that's the referrals come in with that, and I guess so. The thing is, a lot of the things about showbiz, people assume it's who you know. You hear that all the time. Well, it's really not who you know, right? But part of it, and that's where these referrals are a who you know thing. But if you don't have a performance to back that up, when you get on set, if you can't produce some kind of a performance that makes people go, oh wow, and we'll use him again, then it's going to die right there, right? So something must have been going right. I owe the creature effects people a lot, though. I really do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bobby.
Hi, Bobby.
Just first off, I wanted to say that I sympathize with your tall,
Tall
lanky
lankiness.
child.
My brother.
Yeah, it's great to hear about that. But my question is, during those grueling hours of makeup, do you have any pastimes? How do you...
Right, how do you pass it? 7 hours, right? Yeah. Well, you get to know your makeup artist really well, and thankfully they're like wacky people. These are the guys who doodle demons in their notebook when they should be in math class, right? Like that. Anyway, so we joke, we laugh, we tell stories. Music is always playing, maybe with someone's playlist that everyone hates each other's music, so we laugh about that. But thank heaven for laptops and the YouTube, right? I love talking cat videos. We discovered on Hellboy 2. Oh, Hellboy 2, thank heaven we had the YouTube in the trailer. And just watching cats that were subtitled. Going, and they would like subtitle and with the hilarious dialogue. Big fan. Thank you.
Hi. I know you've worked with a lot of creature and character designers. Who are your favorites to work with?
Right. Let's see. A few. Again, Tony Gardner, who heads up Alterian Studios. That was Hocus Pocus. That's how I met him. And then I've done like 15 jobs with him since then. He's been so sweet and good to me. As well as Legacy Effects, which used to be Stan Winston Studios. After he passed away, the company changed hands and names. And so they keep coming back again and again for me. I met them on Tank Girl, was brought up earlier, yes. I was one of the rippers in that, along with Ice-T.
I was going to ask about that, but...
Yeah, I know, crazy, right? He was not happy about that makeup, I'll tell you what. Ripper turned rapper, or rapper turned ripper. Anyway, so...
He's a detective now.
Yes, and let's see, we got also Rick Baker's Shops Innovation, which is no longer a company, I think, but worked with him a couple times, and yeah, there's a lot, a lot of good ones that I love. But I have a lot of makeup artists specifically that I love. DDT Efectos Especiales, the ones who did My Pan's Labyrinth makeup, won the Oscar for Best Makeup that year as well. David Monti and Monse Ribe, I just adore them. And Tom Flouts, makeup artist who did Abe Sapien, The Angel of Death, The Chamberlain from Hellboy 2, The Silver Surfer, and many other things, including my mime makeup for a book I have out called Mime Very Own Book. Yes, get this, a publisher comes to me and says, you started as a mime, right? Yes, I did. Let's make a book about that. How? A book about book? Mimes don't write. So it's all photos, a 250-page coffee table size paperback book. So it's affordable. If you go to the Amazon.com and look for Mime Very Own Book, You're gonna find it. You can get used ones for cheap. So yeah. So Tom, I brought him in to do my makeup on that as well, as the mind face. Yeah. So I did, yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Hi. Well, talk a little bit about the connection between humor and horror and how they can kind of work together, make a role better.
Right, well, because you notice when you're watching a horror movie and things are scary and uber gruesome, you'll find people laughing in the theater. I think the connection between terror and laughing is very close. There's a thin line that that separates horror from humor or comedy. And so that's why I love horror films that have a sense of humor about themselves and actually play into that. Because your horror films are so over the top that you can't help but find it funny, right? Yeah. And I played a lot of I played a lot of villains and evil characters too, and I think the best ones to chew on are the ones that have a smirky sense of humor, I think so. Yeah, so thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, what time is it? Have I gone over? I don't even have a clue. Is anyone in the room? Where? It's 3:09. I went over. Is there a panel at 3 happening?
Yes.
Where are they here? I'm 9 minutes into somebody else. What?
So head over to your table, because there's more time to talk at your table.
Sure. I think I was only supposed to be here till 3. But nobody came to throw us out. So, anyway, let's do these last two and then we'll call it a day. Okay. Yes.
I know that a lot of makeup is done with foam latex. Have you done any makeup with other materials?
Yes, foam latex rubber is the most commonly used prosthetic makeup, but I also love silicone. It has more of a flesh-like feel to it. It's more pliable, but if it tears, it's harder to fix. So, and it's more expensive as well. But silicone is my favorite. It's more skin-like, and I feel, yes, I'm really this thing now. Yeah, thank you.
I was wondering if you would sign this Hellboy movie.
Oh, okay. We do that at the table.
All right.
And the convention has a system for that. It costs money, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but thanks for asking. Okay. Well, you guys, what? Thank you. I'm here all day and the rest of today and tomorrow. So come by the table and share love and stuff, okay?